Welcome to day 17 of our meditative challenge. Today we explore neurographic art, a powerful technique that helps us relieve stress, quiet the mind, and transform emotions into creative expression. We are going to start by drawing a spiral. We're going to start in the middle of the canvas, slowly moving your pen in a free form and drawing from interior to exterior. This pattern helps us create a sense of harmony and stillness as we draw. There is also another way of healing in this pattern. If we draw spirals from interior to exterior, the mind calms down the anger within. The emotion of anger is really brought down. Now I am continuing this practice and drawing flowing lines from interior to exterior. Neurographic art was developed by a psychologist as a way to connect the conscious and the subconscious mind through drawing. The idea is very simple. We allow our hands to move freely, creating organic flowing lines that resemble the neurons. Over here we have a certain pattern. It has a lot of variety as well. Here we have specifically taken the spiral form because we wanted to focus on the emotion of anger and releasing stress, thereby inviting stillness. This process which I use right now is called rounding. Rounding is a process where we turn sharp pointed edges into smoother round edges. If you find a place where two lines are intersecting, use your pen to change that sharper line into a rounded line. You can take one corner at one time, focus on rounding that, and you can continue with the other lines. This is called rounding as well as smoothing the intersection of our lines. So whenever there are two lines which are crossing around the edges, it creates a very organic connection in your mind as well, which also represents integration, balance, and emotional harmony. Keep refining until the entire piece feels flowing and connected. Notice how, as you soften the shapes, your mind also begins to relax. One other thing you can keep in mind is focusing on one intersection point at a time. You can also look at as intersections as barriers or obstacles in our life, which we have to really look at as situations to overcome and not as problems. We look at one situation at a time, deal with it, and then move on. So, similarly, if you look at the bigger picture of our life, we might have a lot of problems, but that is not the concern in the present moment. In the present moment, all we have is one intersection point, and our full focus and our full attention is given to that single space to turn into a rounded edge. This will in turn create and mimic in your brain. A very powerful process to train your mind, which also aligns to the concept which we have dealt since day one, which is we are not our mind and we are not our body, and thereby we train our mind. Now let's bring our artwork to life by adding colors. Choose the colors which resonate your emotion, some blues or pinks or grounding greens. One of the things you can keep in mind is if you're choosing a space to paint, choose the same color for the adjacent space as well. This is a concept of not compartmentalizing, but rather bringing in a lot of unity. So I am choosing a color and I'm giving the same color for 2 to 3 spaces around the same area. And then you can go ahead and choose another color and also cover up the same color with adjacent areas. You could use nearly 4 to 5 colors. More than that is not recommended. And as you color, notice how the piece really transforms into a visual representation of your emotional state. Thank you so much for joining in today's session. Until then, breathe, create, and embrace the stillness within.